Unprotected exposure to sunlight is one of the main causes of skin cancer. About 80 to 90% of these cancers are thought to be due to skin lesions caused by solar radiation. Skin cancer is the most common type of cancer in Canada, with more than 80,000 people diagnosed each year. It can also be fatal if not detected early, especially in the case of melanoma, which causes more than 900 deaths in Canada each year. Skin cancer is also a growing issue in a changing climate. It is believed that the depletion of the ozone layer and the increase in global temperatures caused by this phenomenon contribute to the increase in cases. Sunscreen is an effective method to protect against skin lesions caused by sunlight and to reduce the appearance of skin cancer. Its use is particularly beneficial when other sun protection methods, such as wearing long clothing or shade, are impossible when working or playing sports outdoors. Sunscreen, when used in combination with other sun protection practices, contributes greatly to public health. Recently, independent laboratory tests on sunscreens have detected the presence of benzene, a human carcinogen. The results of these analyses have been widely disseminated in the media, raising public concerns and misunderstandings. In this blog post, we will describe the health effects of exposure to benzene, we'll comment on current results regarding benzene contamination of sunscreens and provide opportunities for public health messaging on the benefits of sunscreen use in relation to potential risks from exposure to benzene. What is benzene? Benzene is an organic compound in the form of a colorless, flammable liquid at room temperature. It is mainly used as a precursor to manufacture a wide range of chemicals and components, plastics, resins, nylon and other synthetic fibers, lubricants, rubbers, dyes, detergents, pharmaceuticals, pesticides, etc. For a long time, it was also used as an industrial solvent, but that use is currently declining. Benzene is a natural component of crude oil and is therefore found in gasoline and diesel exhaust. It is also detected in the incomplete combustion of organic materials, where it is accompanied by polycyclic aromatic compounds, as well as in traces in wood and cigarette fire smoke and in emissions from gas heaters. What are the health effects of exposure to benzene? Benzene is a known human carcinogen. It can cause acute myeloid leukemia and acute non-lymphoid leukemia. It has also been associated with acute lymphoid leukemia, chronic lymphoid leukemia, multiple myeloma, and non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. The majority of research on the health effects of exposure to benzene has been conducted among occupational groups, including workers in the manufacturing sector, the transportation and distribution of gasoline and crude oil products, and persons exposed to vehicle exhaust such as drivers and maintainers. Why is benzene found in some sunscreens? Benzene is not a common ingredient in sunscreens. The United States Food and Drug Administration, FDA, states that benzene should not be used in the manufacture of pharmaceutical products, including sunscreens, due to its toxicity, except in the case of products representing a significant therapeutic advance where it cannot be substituted. In this case, a maximum concentration of 2 parts per million, ppm, of benzene is permitted. However, an independent laboratory analysis published in May 2021 detected benzene in several sunscreens and after-sun care products from the United States. This independent analysis was performed on 294 unique batches of sunscreens and aftercare products representing 69 brands. Of the 294 lots, 78 contained detectable levels of benzene, 27%, 14 of which exceeded the FDA limit of 2 ppm, 4.7%. As a result of this initial analysis, a second analysis was conducted on an additional 368 samples of sunscreen and after-sun care products from Canada and the United States, collected through public appeal from consumers, published in March 2022. This updated study showed that of the 661 samples, 192 had detectable benzene concentrations, 29%, 72 of which exceeded the limit of 2 ppm, 11%. Significant variations in the presence and concentrations of benzene from batch to batch, even for products from the same company, were observed in this analysis. This suggests that benzene was introduced unintentionally during the manufacturing process. However, the exact mechanism of this contamination remains unknown and is currently under investigation. To explain these results, it could be assumed that non-active ingredients used in the manufacturing process could be a source of benzene contamination. In particular, some carbomers, used as thickeners, and isobutene, used as a propellant, are synthesized from hydrocarbons, the manufacturing process of which may include benzene. In this investigation, chemical propellants are of particular interest since the highest concentrations of benzene are in sunscreen and after-sun care preparations containing these agents, greater than 2 parts per million, were most often detected. There does not appear to be any correlation between the contamination and a specific sunscreen active substance, avobenzone, oxybenzone, octisalate, octinoxate, homosalate or octocrylene. What are the risks of exposure to benzene from sunscreen use? While the discovery of benzene at detectable levels in sunscreen and after-sun care is of concern, the majority of the products tested, 71% of the products in the March 2022 analysis, did not contain benzene and, among those that did, the concentration was less than 2 ppm in most cases. Although there is no threshold for risk-free exposure to benzene, the concentrations observed in these products are considered to be relatively low risk. There is little evidence that the skin can absorb benzene when contaminated sunscreen is applied. A retrospective analysis of blood benzene concentrations in adults in the United States provided no evidence of elevated levels of benzene in people using sunscreens. Although it is known that benzene can enter the skin to enter the bloodstream, this exposure mechanism has been less studied than that involving inhalation, which would be the primary exposure mechanism in most public and occupational settings. Exposure to benzene by inhalation in persons using sunscreens with chemical propellants could be a possible route of exposure, considering the higher levels of benzene contamination detected for these products, although there is no evidence to support this hypothesis. What are the key points relevant to communicating the risks of potential exposure to benzene from sunscreens? As recent findings regarding the presence of benzene in sunscreen products have been reported in the media, the public may be concerned about the carcinogenic potential of the chemicals in these products. While this is a legitimate concern, these findings must nevertheless be contextualized with the health effects of solar radiation and the increased risk of developing skin cancer when sunscreen is not used. Public health agencies such as the FDA and the Canadian Dermatology Association, CDA, are adamant that sunscreen should be used as usual, despite recent findings of benzene contamination. Public health practitioners who provide information about sunscreens can emphasize that benzene is not a common ingredient in sunscreens and that recent discoveries are the result of a contamination problem currently under review. Recognize that although benzene was detected in some sunscreens, the majority of products tested did not contain benzene. To draw attention to the fact that the health risks of potential exposure to benzene from sunscreens are considered low, when exposure to sunlight is known to be associated with a high risk. Recommend that people concerned about this information use CDA-approved sunscreens. Promote the use of sunscreens without aerosols or propellants, 2 suspected sources of benzene contamination. Provide information on alternative methods of reducing exposure to solar radiation, including limiting sun exposure, especially in the middle of the day, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m., when maximum sunlight is present. Staying in the shade as much as possible. Wearing a wide-brimmed hat, sunglasses, and clothing covering the skin when possible. Applying a broad-spectrum sunscreen that provides a sun protection factor, SPF, of at least 30th on the skin several times during the day. Verifying the expected ultraviolet index.